All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. All right, all right, we're here. Um, I didn't know where to start with all this, but basically, what we're here to talk about is something that's very common. It goes on all the time. It's happened to me, and I see it happen to a lot of other people. Um, in the Bigfoot community, uh, and this is not just for researchers. I know I made the post about researchers, but there's other individuals who do try to share things or have their inputs on stuff. Nobody knows nothing about the subject. There's very little that we do know, if there is anything. Um, but that's all part of the learning process. So that's why we all share and ask questions. And for those of us that do go out in the field and give our theories, thoughts, and opinions, and then go forth and start putting them out there as if it's part of our learning and educating and sharing with others. Some of us do get ridiculed for it, and it's bad enough that we take ridicule and harassment from non-believers and skeptics, but I think it's nonsense and it's very uncalled for, especially when you have to take it and hear it from other so-called researchers, if that's what you want to call some of the others. But I don't know where to really start with this, but that's what this whole podcast is about tonight. Is um, dealing with ridicule, mockery, being called a liar. Um, um, just pretty much being hated by others. Maybe hate is not the right word to use, but um, you know, it shouldn't. I don't know. It shouldn't interfere with what we're doing. I mean, I've had over the years, I've been told just let it go, leave it alone, ignore it. Well, yeah, that's sometimes easier said than done. But then on the other hand, when you have well-respected individuals or friends that you've known over the years that have their own well-known established Bigfoot groups start to question you because people bring stuff up to their attention, like, I mean, stuff, it doesn't make sense to me, but they want to start questioning your life history. Were you ever involved with this? Or are you a felon? Those weren't direct questions, but that's where they were leading to. And no, I mean, I was totally honest with the guy, and I had nothing to hide. Uh, was I ever a felon? No. um, you know, but that's on me. Everyone has their own history. Everyone has their own. Um, maybe some others have secrets, and there's people that like to dig down and look for the dirtiest, darkest things on those individuals, especially if they're doing well or they appear to have a lot of followers in what they do. But um, I don't know why people have the feel or the need that they got to try to drag them down. I mean, I don't see it accomplishing nothing besides, okay, maybe in hopes that their followers will give the others attention. Um, I feel like Bigfoot research is a competition when really, truly, it's not a competition. Um, yeah, we could all share our opinions about uh, so and so's research. Okay, well, this is the difference between me and her. A lot of people agree and disagree if they believe this theory or this accusation. A good example is me and Fred Canny. We agree on a lot of things, but then again, there's a lot that we do not agree on. Um, but it doesn't stop us from being friends. Me and Fred Canny are really good friends. Um, you know, like I said, we have our differences, just like anyone else. And and being the friend that I am, Fred knows that I will tell him my honest opinion and um, you know what I feel about something he might present to me. And that's pretty much what I do. I do that pretty openly. Um, I'm not going to call people names, call them a hoaxer or a liar, um, call them any names that will belittle them. Um, I will not try to make them look, you know, like they don't know what they're talking about. Until I got to know Fred, or Fred, I'm just using Fred as an example. I'm not trying to preach about Fred, but Fred actually taught me quite a bit and about his area and some of the things he was sharing with me. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take a break from my area. I want to start looking into his area, and you know, there was truth behind what he was telling me. I found it for myself. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is a lot of us are quick to judge somebody, regardless of what it, if you agree with them or not. For some reason, each individual, I don't know, we have a reputation. Is it our parents? People judge off of parents, where we're from, which is all immature, ignorant. Um, but I don't know if I'm speaking too fast on what I'm trying to say, if I'm making any bit of sense at all. That helped me actually go on with this subject and this discussion. Anyone on the board that's here want to share anything or ask anything? Because I'm going to try to bring up some points later, without using names, because I don't believe in using names, calling anybody out, pointing names out. But if you guys have anything you want to share, feel free. If you guys, viewers, if you guys have questions, because we do have a lot of viewers right now. Um, hold on. Hold on, excuse me. Unmute yours. Who's asking to unmute themselves? Somebody's muted on the board. Oh, yeah, Cheryl, you're still muted. You could unmute yourself. I think she froze up, Glenn. She's not moving.
No, I got permission to unmute.
Oh, okay. Your picture looked froze there for a second. Yeah. But like I said, I know sometimes, Cheryl, you have questions. But yeah, like I was saying, if anyone has anything that you want to share to actually throw in on this subject, I don't know how long, how many different groups I know you guys are in a lot of groups. I'm sure you've seen other posts. I'm sure, like basically what you shared with me earlier, Carrie, what you asked me about. The individuals that were attacking or making the accusation about that person, and then you went on to show me that it was more than one person. Well, I questioned him. I actually that individual, I questioned him about the uh, the accusation, or them calling that person what they called him. Asked him if he wanted to share some 2 cents, and asked if he wanted me to share anything on the podcast. He said no. He's not worried about what they had to say. He says them individuals. He said it's what they do. His words, to be exact, he calls them thugs. He referred to them as them thugs. Well, and they're in a Bigfoot group. These are Bigfoot researchers, supposedly. I don't know, but I knew exactly when he mentioned names. I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I understand now." But I don't know if they brought those accusations up for a reason. If they were something that they found on the man, I mean, I don't know. I make no judgment because I don't know nothing. I have no evidence of what their accusations are for. But this is a big thing that goes on. This is a very common thing where I can tell you right now, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's a big crybaby, very well off crybaby. I will say he does live here in Virginia. Um, like I said, he's well off. And if he doesn't like your 2 cents, your opinion, or your words against what he believes or agrees with, yeah, he's going to cause you a lot of trouble. But this individual gave both me and Fred Canny trouble. Um, he's very, if you ask me, he might be educated, but he's very immature. Basically, if you throw his name in the mix, he's going to have his lawyer send you papers, not, to leave his name out of anything we say or do. Well, but it's okay for him to do it. That's the problem we have. It's getting to the point where we can't share our opinions. We can't share our thoughts. It's getting a little ignorant, and I know there's some a few individuals, they don't get on here as much as they used to. But I can tell you now, I had some guests on my podcast that speak their mind, and I was actually, I respect them for what they do, and they're pretty real with me when they see things I share or post or whatever. And actually, they're like a sibling. They're straightforward with you about, hey, you could have done this. Why didn't you do that? They don't make fun of me for what I didn't do or did or whatever, but um, 'cause, not everybody's going to agree with you. So, like I said, I don't know. I'm trying to use situations or examples without using names. Maybe it's a little hard but I know some of you guys would love for me to start throwing out names, but no, I'm not going to because that's not who I am. And it's even though these certain individuals are very disrespectful, I'm not going to be the same way as they are. So, but if anyone who's viewing, if you have comments or questions, I'm going to check the chat, the comments below where you guys are viewing. Meanwhile, anyone on the board, like Carrie, Glenn, or Cheryl, do you guys have anything you want to share while I'm going to go and check the questions here or any comments?
Go ahead,
Going on?
Cheryl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cheryl has
Well,
something to
well, to me, it just seems like it's bullying, pretty much, just like in schools
say.
and
It
stuff.
is,
It is really bullying,
and
and I don't
it's
like
funny that
anybody picking on people.
right. It's funny that you said that because it's one of the thoughts that were running through my head. It's like, are these individuals, were they the bullies back at school that just never grew out of that stayed? I mean, inside their head, they're still that little bully, punk kid that that you kind of
Y-
wish you could go back
You're
and knock
right.
them out again. Because that, what,
They
I ain't
is
gonna
all.
lie, that's who I was. Yeah, I had a
Well,
temper when I was little. I mean, kids come up to me. I had kids come up to me, especially going to a new school. I had kids come up to me, didn't know you from Adam, call you an ugly name. You drop your book bag, and next you know, bam, that's how I was. I was knocking them out. I mean, but I was a little kid. That was elementary school, and but it's
Yeah.
not like that.
or
These kids are still in that state of mind. But
or another thing, they just don't got nothing better than do, picking on other people too. It
I've
is.
always
It's just
wondered.
pretty much bullying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um,
That's why I look at it this way. I don't care what anybody thinks or say about myself.
right.
See?
Uh,
Genius. Get
funny,
it? Genius.
funny.
Yeah,
Nah, Cheryl, I know what
probably trying to
what's that,
make
Carrie?
they're probably trying to make themselves look better, run somebody down. It's hard telling until you really know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like that could be the case too. But then again, you got really, if you think about it, it's really making them like an ass. But yet they got friends that question you. I mean, but it's okay for them to be immature. Excuse my language, but jackasses. I mean, um, I tell you, there's sometimes it kind of makes you want to just, I don't know. It kind of digs under the skin sometimes, but a lot of times
But
it
you
does.
know what? You just let it go with the flow, like I tell all the kids at work. They got a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
things that bugs them, picked on. I said, do what I do, because they don't, they never see any reaction out of me. I say I go one day at a time, go with the flow, I tell them.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. I think we got a comment. Oh no, we don't. That was me earlier making a comment. Question. I was pretty much letting everybody know questions or comments are welcome. But I know we got a number of viewers. I know if there's anyone that's viewing, I know if you want to ask questions, even if it's off the subject that we're actually talking about, feel free. Because we love to chat on here. We enjoy doing this. We love sharing
Yeah.
information.
Hurry up and shoot. Come on, we need some questions. You even got the answers. Come on.
Well,
Cheryl's usually full of
Genius
questions
right
herself,
here.
but
the other night,
what's
the
that,
other
Gary?
night where the other night where I said I thought they are more human is because most of the evidence they collect, they say it's contaminated with human, so that's where I figure they may have somewhat human in them, who knows.
Well, along that subject, I mean, then again, we were talking about the agreement and disagreement. There's been a lot of controversy over that, and especially those who actually dealt with those, I guess that subject, as far as the scientists involved and the research and the studies and the testings and everything. I know there's a lot of people. I will bring up Melba Ketchum. There's a lot of people that back her up. A lot of people reviewed a lot of the paperwork and watched her video because of what she said. That she said things were tested and they tested through the contamination and this came back as this, but even just thinking about it as I'm trying to even talk about it, it's kind of like touchy to me because I know some people know how I feel about that whole thing because there's a lot of people that don't go for that, but that's a interesting subject that I might want to. I myself was just going to leave it alone because that could go in a lot of different directions, to be honest. Yeah, that's a very touchy thing because there's a lot of people. I'll be honest, regardless of what was said, no matter what science they use to say what was done and said and tested, and a lot of people ain't going for it. And then again, you got the people that say, "Well, blah blah blah, it's all science. Science said this," But I don't know. One of the things that kind of throws me in a loop, just thinking about the whole thing. Why would I've questioned this before, but everyone has an answer for something because they're a follower of these people. They're going to back them up with whatever. But I don't see it professional as a well-known scientist has got to go out of her way to collect money to get things properly published. I mean, if it was acknowledged by the right authorities, the right people, these other labs and these other scientists did their testings and they came back the same as what she found, then why wasn't it spread further to continue a more wide testing and more acknowledgement? But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of little things involved. Like I said, last time I talked about this on my Facebook, I was told, just leave it alone. You're over your head. Well, I've been looking more and more into things, and more I dig into things, more I'm not going for it. There's a lot more. I'm just not falling for what was said, and regardless of whatever, I don't know. But overall, it is an interesting subject. I will say that it's very interesting.
Sure
But
is.
yeah, I mean, regardless if I agree or not, I mean, wait a minute, hold on. All right, Claudia Ackley, we got some. Let me see what she's got to say. All right. Okay, first, Claudia Ackley. She starts off saying, "Hi, everyone." She's got a question. We could all put in on this one. It's basically directed to all of us. Does anyone think that artistic behavior is common with Bigfoot? Ooh, that's a good question, Claudia. Because she goes on to say, there's always numbers that I notice. 2 or 3 is a popular number with them. Also, the swaying back and forth is interesting. You know what? That's funny that she's talking about that. The autistic behaviors. Well, first of all, I'm going to kind of come back to that. But what you're saying, the numbers, I guess she's talking about the numbers of their population as far as group-wise. If I'm understanding you right, or if I'm not, please correct me, Claudia. But our nighttime encounter that 6 of us witnessed together was a number of 3. Also, that same night, the the young subject that we believe was a possible juvenile was doing the swaying back and forth. The other two taller subjects were actually being observant, moving their heads and blinking eyes, while the younger subject, like I said, was swaying back and forth. Like he was kind of like a hyper young child. Um, that was very interesting. But I've heard they have been seen in numbers of twos or threes. But like I said, I mean, I don't know how common it is, but I'm just sharing that what we witnessed was a number of three of them. So, but autistic behavior. I don't know. That's kind of I don't even know how to go on that one. I mean, I know all about autistic behaviors. I mean, I got a niece and a nephew that's both autistic in the same family. They're siblings. So, I mean, um, I don't know. I believe it's very possible that they do have these behaviors. It's, on my part, they haven't ever been observed. Um, maybe there is behaviors that they possess and that they do, but maybe we don't know them to be autistic. So maybe it's just their natural behaviors. But that's interesting. I never really kind of,
That's
thought about that
interesting.
one. It is. That's
That
different.
is.
Definitely different. But that's the first I've ever had that one that brought up or questioned. But then again, when it comes to autism, there's several different types of autism. Some autism is actually worse than others. Um, I don't know. I think in autism, some could be more of a quiet. In some children portray a very quiet state of mind. I mean, they're very quiet, not quite shy, but just quiet, not so interactive. And again, some are hyper or quick to have outbursts, and just sometimes you don't always know how to take them. So I mean, those kind of behaviors and traits, I believe they are very possible in the Bigfoot, community, or the world, I should say. Because a lot of their behaviors, I mean, yeah, if we want to have any relationship to humans, I believe I will say that a lot of their behaviors are common with some human behaviors. But then again, a majority of what I observed and I state is behaviors and even vocalizations and the findings I come across all point towards primate behavior, non-human primate behavior. So that's part of where I always go towards the primate behavior, and I know everyone has their only twist and loop around that to say why. Well, humans have non-human primate behavior. I've heard that before. I was like, okay. So sometimes when I get in these conversations with certain people and they want to throw their loop around things, I just drop the subject and move on. Because sometimes I don't get no point in wanting to argue. I mean, I've had posts on my own timeline where people start jumping in there. Other educated people that know science pretty well, and they start sharing your scientific thoughts and theories. And I'm sitting back watching, and then I got other people saying, "Oh, Daniel, I see you got quiet. It's too much for you to even handle to throw back, throw your, any words in there." No, it's not that, because what they're talking about, I understand. That's why I'm staying out of it, because I may not agree with them, or I don't want to, be in an argumentative, situation. So a lot of times I sit back and listen, and while they continue on, others they're going back and forth with each other, and this person is agreeing, disagreeing, and then they say, okay, well, yeah, so, it's funny. I sit back and watch, but also at the same time, I'm actually learning from all this, and I learned from things in a very odd way, and I just pick up on a lot of little things. And when people keep telling me one thing, especially if it's something totally against what I believe in or agree with, okay, I make notes of these things, and these are the things I kind of look into and I start studying, and I got to find out if there's any truth in these myself. And of course, there's a twist to everything, and I don't always. There's some things I'll never agree on. But then again, I might believe or agree to a certain extent without going into their territory, if that makes any sense. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what else we
I
got.
got
You guys
another
have
good
anything else?
question. I got
Okay,
a
let's
question
hear it.
now. I just remember what I wanted to ask you earlier. You know,
Okay.
well, when you were talking about what Claudia was asking
Yeah.
autism and stuff like that. Well, it was kind of almost the same question, but you know how they communicate with doing the whooping
Mm-hmm.
and they do the knock-in. I wonder if they do any sign language. They have their own sign language.
You know what? I'm gonna say absolutely. Um, there's a lot of hand gestures. A lot of hand gestures are very common in the primate world. Um, you know, look at a lot of people believe that Sasquatch has actually inherited a lot of behaviors from observing our Native Americans. Um, even through sounds, that our Native Americans imitated sounds through our nature itself. A lot of them use hand gestures and whatnot. For communicating, especially if they're trying to be quiet about something. If they have contact between with each other, and they don't want to make no, um, if they don't want to say anything to bring attention to themselves, yeah, they will use gestures. Or yeah, the tree knocks. The tree knocks are part of our communication. A lot of people believe tree knocks are for various reasons, which they are. There's a various reasons. Um, it could be whatever, communicate and let each other know point A to point B. You got one here, one there, vice versa, so forth, whatever. I can go on and on, but yeah, absolutely. Hand gestures are very common. I believe. I mean, yeah, I can't say I've seen it, but then again, when I'm answering this question, I'm thinking about our known primates. So, and if you ever watch them on TV or read about some of the gestures that they do, you'll actually understand. Um, like reaching a hand out. Um, well, as far as a trained primate that's in the captive, our known primates actually been trained to actually use sign language for communication, which they're very intelligent, where they will speak through sign language. But yeah, but there is certain hand gestures that are known primates do use. But that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good question. So, uh, not seeing else. Uh, still see we still have a lot of viewers here, and uh, I heard somebody buzz, somebody phone buzz. I
Yeah,
heard
I
some
think
weird
it.
noise. Oh, okay. Heard buzz. I heard that the other night too. I was like, "What in the world is that?" So,
Well, come
man,
on, viewers. You know you want to ask questions. Come on. Come on.
hmm yeah, I know. I think a lot of people, when I was sharing this link and they saw what it was about, you know, I know I was told in one group by the administrator after she asked me, "Well, what exactly is this, going to be about?" And I told her exactly what I was going to be talking about. And of course, it couldn't be shared in their group because they don't keep the thing about people hating on others, trolls, and everything. I can understand that, but and they probably thought I was going to be pretty hostile in the podcast, which no, I'm not trying to be. I'm more or less trying to make a point. Um, because overall, I will speak on the subject of the podcast real quick, and then we can go into some other topics like we were just doing. But the overall thing is, I believe that regardless, if you have a problem with another individual, as far as the way they conduct research, because there is no right way, there is no wrong way. There is ways that we can improve, yes. And I take a lot of criticism. I mean, critique, on people. Well, you didn't do this, and you should have done this. And you know what? Okay, I'm not perfect, but I do learn from others. Everyone over the years, I actually have been learning from everybody, um, and that's where I learned to better conduct myself. And because I'm far from perfect, I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes. Um, and of course, a lot of people that critique me and share their opinions. Some of these people do get out. Some of them don't get out. And so when you're out in the field, for those who don't get out in the field, when you're out there doing what I do, your mind gets in a different mindset. Uh, you're in another world when you're out there, okay? Because yes, my senses come alert. I mean, I'm watching, I'm listening, and then like the last couple of days, I was out with my daughter, and she don't realize I hear every little thing, and she's right behind me. We're walking, and I have to tell her to stop, you know, because she's not hearing what I'm hearing. It's just because I can pick up on everything. And then we're stopped, and she wants to keep talking. I said no, then she causes me to get a little upset. I was like, trying to get her to understand. I said, Brianna, I said, I hear things. I said, you're not hearing what I'm hearing. Sometimes she does, but she doesn't always. I guess I could have a pretty good sense of hearing at a long range. But yeah, we heard a couple things the other day together. We both heard a couple tree knocks. I heard what a possible long distance vocalization, but then again, I wasn't sure because by the time I was hearing it, I started hearing a little bit of wind. But nah, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought because I was going into something else and it just went blank in my mind. um, where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, everyone. So. um, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought on that. Anyway, maybe I'll come back to me after a while. So, um, anyway, let's while we got some time left, for those viewing, uh, this is something I love to do. Everyone wants to share something. Everybody wants to ask something. We love answering questions. I don't know. I haven't made plans as of Friday yet, but there's a possibility I may be doing something Friday night, or we'll have to wait. I have to play it by ear. Um. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I just had a question here, or something pop up. Let's see. Oh. Okay. I was just being told. Okay. I got a buddy of mine. He wants me to come down to Southwest Virginia to such and such place one weekend. I thought he was messaged under one of my links. Uh, they've been having a lot of Squatch activity down there recently, so that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hold on, he's messaged me. Okay. Oh, he must be watching it because he said pretty good show. Uh-huh. And then he's asking, yeah, and under another comment, yeah, same question. All right, hold on. I'm trying to check because sometimes people comment on Facebook and I don't always see it. So I always tell people to comment when they're watching or viewing this. Make your comments below. Anybody should be able to comment, as far as I know. Or if you want to ask a question, question me on Facebook. I can get on my Facebook. I'm actually looking at Facebook right now through my phone. I mean, I could look through it both on my computer here on the other page I have opened up. How about any of you guys on the board here, Cheryl, Glenn, or Carrie? Do you guys have anything else you want to share or maybe ask or talk about?
Why does Cheryl always get muted?
I did not mute you. Oh, you're talking about... Oh, okay.
The only one
Okay.
that gets muted. Oh, I think it's because I'm the only girl. I wonder how all them Sasquatches feel. Squatcharella. Jeez.
Well, your daughter that's hiding between you and your daughter that's hiding sitting next to you right now, you guys
Oh,
usually produce a lot of noise.
well, that's her fault. That wasn't my fault. Well, I had to go. I had to go get a cup of coffee.
That's why you were supposed to have it already ready, because, like, look.
I already drank
Oh, you
it.
can't see that. Oh,
She wouldn't
that's
go
why
get
you
it
have your
for
daughter go
me.
get it for you.
And Glenn's on the other
Oh.
computer, so.
Well, you got your brother-in-law there. He could go and get it. Or are you at your house,
No,
Carrie?
he's at his house. He's
Oh,
at
I thought you were
home.
over their house. Okay. I got you. Uh-huh. Wait a minute.
Geez, a lot of people ought to have questions out there. I know there's tons of questions out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just give me time to think
All
of
right,
some.
I know I've seen a lot of structures out there in the past and different signs, but I'll be more to get pictures of it now. I never really thought of it before, but I'll be ready now.
Yeah.
Kathy's got a lot
you
of
know
them
how-
out in her place.
Really? That's what I
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to go check that out.
She's got like 18 acres, and that walk that Glenn and I and the girls went on, even though they were noisy,
Right.
I seen a lot of structures and a lot of deer tracks.
Right.
She's got another 30-something acres attached to that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, all right, her 18 acres, is it like surrounded? Yeah, it must be surrounded by other land, not apart from her, the other forests and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, goes right down to
Wow.
the lake.
Yeah, there's a lot
Wow.
of woods.
We walked right down, all the way down, and I guess people have a hammock, so maybe Bigfoot sleeps there.
You never know. You never
You never know.
That's right.
It's beautiful down there.
Hold on, what do I got? Okay. Okay.
Come on, question. Come on.
Lael Pelt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Lael, Lael Pelt, wants to know, what is your research background? What is your research background and that of your guest? Okay, well, I guess I can speak openly. I can start with the guest. Well, actually, what's the best way to say this? You guys actually, my guests here on the board, they're family. They're not out of the state of Maine. These people live in the woods. They're well acquainted with the woods. If you guys have anything to share with us while I'm talking, feel free, because you guys can give a little bit more better input than I can, because I'm speaking for you guys. Because if I'm not mistaken, you guys grew up in the woods, so you guys are well aware of nature, and you guys hunt. So. And I know you know animals because you guys have a farm. That's one way to put it, right?
Yeah.
And I train service dogs too.
Well, there you go. Awesome.
Yeah, I do service dog stuff.
Well, they want to know last time I was asked this question, I always tell people, go to my website. I made a specific blog post just about me, so. But now, to make a long story short, for the last, I'm going to say, let's see, we're in 2016. Let me think. It was 2011 when I actually really started to get into the Bigfoot thing. I started doing my own research, and it actually started to open up more in 2012. And within the information I started, looking into, when I started learning that Facebook, social media, actually had Bigfoot groups, forums, I said, I got to jump on here. I got to start asking questions, getting in groups, asking questions, getting in more groups, asking questions. I'm going to be honest with you. From the get-go, I was like, seeing all these different theories floating around. I was seeing all these, hearsay, and so, you know, as much as I was always out in the woods, it started to, made me become more observant. I mean, I grew up in the woods. I grew up hunting since I was a young kid. I used to play in the woods, like, what a real normal kid should be doing. Give a break, I didn't. I grew up with technology, but my desire was always to be in the woods as a kid. But, um, but yeah, as I got more into the Bigfoot thing, I started realizing, okay, well, I should be seeing these things. Like a lot of these so-called hunters and these skeptics say, well, I'm in the woods all the time. I don't see nothing. Well, it's because you're not being observant. You're not looking for it. I started to look for it, and yes, I started finding it. Um, but yeah, the you know, spending time in the field, getting experience more and more with what I'm supposed to be looking for, it really opened my eyes. And then I started reading. I started, you know, doing my own studies, and I wanted to start understanding certain terms, and I basically wanted to further educate myself. No, I never did actually continue or pursue further education after high school. I actually, yes, I did, but it didn't really go too far. I'm being honest. I just didn't have the patience for it because I had so much more involved in the outside, being a single parent. So I know a lot of people do it, but I had to work long hours just to make ends meet. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much to sum it up. I come a long ways, and um, whatever. um, I'm
Well,
more.
Glenn. Well,
What's that?
Glenn started getting into this when he started going online, and he found you and started talking to you and stuff. And then I'd start asking questions and stuff. And then that couple months ago, what happened made me even ask more questions about it.
Right.
Till this day, I still have that picture in my head that running across in front of me.
Oh yeah, and that's not going to go away. And I'm going to tell you, even me, I've been in this long enough. I have questions. I always have questions, but I try to ask other people um that supposedly had experiences themselves to get their input on things. And I tell you what, I do learn when I get witnesses. I get reports, and I go to question and interview my witnesses. Actually, I learn things from them. Um, Not one of my witnesses that I've actually experienced any doubt from them. I just to listen to their voice, and to hear how they answer what I do ask them. Um, you could hear, I guess this is the right way to put it, the authentication in their voice. I mean, the truth, the sound of truth. Because the sound of truth, the way they speak, you can hear like the seniority. I mean, the seriousness that they're expressing. So, but I learned from them, because their experience and hands-on. I mean, there's something that they never expected. Some of these people never even believed. They actually, I had one witness I interviewed. She never believed. She was actually made fun of people or made fun of the subject itself. So it was something totally unexpected. But these people, when they have something happen to them, or they see something, it opens up a whole new world. And I've had people try to discredit the subject of Bigfoot using science itself, how it's an impossibility of faculty, that it's not a real realization. It's not a real thing. It's a delusion that people want to believe in so much that they claim to actually end up seeing it. I don't know. They use I can't get into the big terms and the big scientific terms that they try to use. I've had somebody messaging me about this and how it's pretty much they try to use the scientific terms and how it's impossible. Of course, they went on to use fossil records, and you know what? Fossil records, that's another subject in itself. But yeah, you learn from experiences. You learn. There's only so much we can learn from a book. We can learn terms and understanding terms and stuff, but um, you learn more in the field. That's your being in the field. Your observations and your senses are your best tools. Fred Kennedy will tell you this, because if you understand nature, that's that's a big part of it right there. You're learning a lot right there. You want to know your known wildlife. You want to know what inhabits your known wildlife. You want to know what's going on. I try to observe and study the patterns of the deer, the bear, especially bear. And I know that I say this all the time. People who listen to me all the time will hear me say bears. Know your bears and understand your bears and their patterns, especially their tracks. I ain't gonna lie, I've been deceived on a number of times. I got fooled by bear tracks quite a few times. But yeah, okay. Um, Sam Deloach is asking, have you seen a Bigfoot? And they want to. He's asking me and you guys. Like I shared earlier in the show, 6 of us actually witnessed. It was, of course, it was dark, but we were walking back from camp and we had our headlights on, and we experienced in what we believe, without doubt, there was a subject or 3 subjects, which was a small family unit, juvenile, and we're assuming that the 6.5 foot tall, 7 foot one was a female. There was one that was well over 8 foot, which we estimate or assume that it was a male. But that was very interesting. It's something we won't forget. I know I got other members that are on that are not on here that had sightings. And what Cheryl was just talking about 2 months ago, and I believe with what she saw, without a doubt, that ran across the road real fast on her was a Squatch. And Cheryl, how tall did you estimate this subject was?
I say it's probably between 8 to 9 feet tall.
Wow. And like you said, it was pretty fast as it crossed.
It was fast, and it was very. You could see the arm on the side of the arms or whatever, and it was on 2 feet.
Awesome.
Something I'll
Sam,
never forget.
Oh yeah. Now, how close? No, as far as how close in front of your vehicle was it?
I would say it was probably about maybe between 50 to 75 feet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It was close. It was close.
Man. Now, don't you wish you had a dash cam? Because this happened at night, right?
Well, I bought one last Christmas for my husband there, Glenn. Yeah, I think that's gonna go back in the vehicle.
There you go. See, I got
that would
one.
have been some cool footage. And that happened at 3:30. That happened at 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
On my way to work. When I try to go get Victoria, I want to hurry up because I want to go back on that road again every morning. I want to get there before 3:30, but it just never happens. Maybe I'd do it again.
Now let me ask you, while we're on this subject here, when you were ahead on the road, did it cross? You see, I don't know the roads up there, and I don't know the direction you were headed, but it came from right to left or left to right?
Left to right.
Left to right. Okay. Now, in the direction it came from, both the direction it came from and the direction it went to, do you know that area as far as, does it continue into more woods or?
There's a farm on the left, and they have tons of land and cows on the left.
Oh wow!
And right across is Kanduskeag Stream. So there's a
That's where
stream
we
down there
had it.
with woods.
That's the
Okay.
stream that we had. That's the stream we had an encounter when we was younger.
Back in the 80s, you said, right? Wow.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So, yeah, for being only 2 months old, and you guys back in the 80s, apparently in that area, there's something working that area, and there's something that inhabits that area or works its way through that area. That's something to actually definitely check into and try to see if you could pick up a
Sure.
pattern, especially with tracks. As far as even though people have found tracks in the snow, you got to be careful because tracks can be very deceiving in the snow as well. Because when I was in the area there this past weekend, of course, a lot of the snow has melted. There's some on the sides of the road out there in my research area. However, a lot of the deer tracks, they melted down so much they've actually expanded and look like possibly bear-sized tracks now. Yeah, because there's one area where my boot prints that I left in one area that I remembered, I just so happened to observe them. Of course, they're much bigger now. If anyone else saw them, they'd probably think they're Sasquatch tracks. But it's funny. Snow is the way it melts and expands and stretches out. Because I can tell you about 2 years ago in Frank County's area, it was actually November of 2014. Snow was all over the ground, and I seen a set of boot tracks coming down this one trail up behind the camp, and I just happened to see one of them. It kind of stood out to me, and you could see it definitely appeared to have toes in it. But at first, when I first looked at it, I was like, got excited real quick. I said, "Oh man!" I said, "It's just a boot track." I mean, if you look very carefully, I mean, it had over towards the heel, you could see the pattern of the boot, but the rest of it was so worn out and it melted, it actually appeared to be a foot with toes. But it was only a boot track. But it's funny how snow melts around different size tracks. But yeah, that's something you definitely have to get into the area and,
Well,
see
hurry up
what,
and get up here so you can. I'll show you where I saw. Okay, I got another question. This is maybe an easy question. You know how we have 10 fingers and 10 toes? Now, do they have 10 toes too?
Toe.
Actually, yeah.
5 on.
5 and 5, yeah.
Well, if you don't ask questions, you won't get answers. I'm so curious. What do you expect? That's how I learn. I ask questions.
Well, due to the number of the tracks I've come across in both also casts, all mine look like I mean, some of them vary. They're not all the same, but I have one track actually. Well, if you look, I got a couple. I know I shared my big track with you guys the other day. I got a couple more over in the corner here. I'll pull out to you. It was actually one where the toes were like going up a muddy bank, and you can see where it stepped in and it kind of slid a little bit, but because the toes are definitely there. The rest of the track, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'll actually share that in a second. But yeah, all the tracks I come across have the regular 5 toes like a human person would have. I've seen from other people's tracks, some of them are kind of real weird. Rumor has it, I think I could be wrong on this, but I was told the monster Falk, what's it, Arkansas, supposedly what, 3 toes. I don't know if that's what the truth is behind that, but I've seen some tracks that were almost like appeared to be like a gorilla. Of course, gorillas have 5. But yeah, most of them I have seen and found both have 5 toes. Yeah.
I wonder if they throw off fingerprints like we do.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to be honest with you on that. They do. I'm going to tell you, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, along with, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the gentleman. His name is Jimmy Chilcutt. He is a former FBI forensic analysis. Yeah, he retired from the FBI, and he specializes in primate dermal ridges. And some of the work he studied and researched, he's actually analyzed some foot tracks with Jeff Meldrum. He actually has found dermal ridges, and actually did a hand. There was a large hand, which actually appeared to be like a large, oversized, large gorilla handprint. Um, Now, with what his conclusion, and I'm going to tell you, he states this. He said it on TV, and he says it in the book I have. Stated, it's actually a book by Jeff Meldrum, Sasquatch: Legend Meets Science, and this gentleman stakes his reputation on, and this is what he quotes. He stakes his reputation that there is a non-human primate. That's exactly how he states it. Now, as far as dermal ridges, like the ridge patterns, our fingerprints, there's only 2 species in the world that have dermal ridges. That's both humans and non-human primates. And the reason why he states non-human primates on some of the foot casts he's come across, they do not match up to a human being. They match up to a non-human being. Non-human primate, excuse me. So that there, when I've heard him say it on a couple different shows, and I read it in the book I have, and that's very exciting. And that there, I found that very incredible, coming from who this gentleman is. And like I said, he's worked and analyzed right next to Jeff Meldrum, and now I don't know Jeff Meldrum's input on everything. I don't know where Jeff Meldrum really stands in all this. But he specializes in the foot, but yeah, if that answered your question, any. So.
Yeah, don't forget them books when you come up here either.
Oh, okay. Alrighty then, I'll be sure to do so. I have to print out more copies because I see, for me to get them, I can get them at a discount because I could order, through the publishing company. I could order them myself, but.
Well, you can be my library.
Oh, there you go. There's one part that Sam Deloach mentioned that I didn't get to share. Yeah, he was asking, do you see evidence such as prints, structures, broken trees, bent trees, etc., on a regular basis, such as every time you go researching? Honestly, yeah, that's kind of a yes and no thing. No, the thing is, every day I go out, I don't see nothing new. I see some things I remember seeing from, it could some of the things I find, like especially a lot of your tree breaks. I go into a lot of the same areas frequently. I try to stay focused and study on specific areas. Like my research area, it's a large, vast area, but I use sections. There's different sections, or what I call zones, because I got ECBRO Zone 1, ECBRO Zone 2, ECBRO Zone 3. That part of my research area, that's actually the West Virginia side. And I actually have found tracks and a lot of structures and tree breaks in there. But there's certain areas that I go into. There's 2 areas I go back and forth to a lot because that's where I got a lot of activity, and that's where we've had our encounter. I've had a nighttime encounter there alone. I found both tracks. Because I know the bear go through there, I know the deer go through there, and I know the squatches go through there. Because the evidence, I've heard vocalizations. But as far as the tree breaks, you can put me in the middle of the woods, in my research area. It could be pitch dark. I will find my way out of there. For example, me and Fred, we walked into one area in my research area, and it was dark. All we had was our headlamps, and we got to one part. Like, Fred's like, "Do you know how to get us out of here?" I was like, "Yeah, Fred." I said, "We got to go back this way." And I was like, "Fred, see that tree break right there?" I said, "We passed that on the way out here." I said, "When we go in this direction, it'll bring us out to the road." So, I mean, little things like that. I know how, I study and observe patterns in structures, and even if it's a natural tree break or whatever, I observe it. Um, Now, if there's something new, yeah, I'm gonna know it's new. Um, like same thing with Fred's area. I take note of in the areas I go into if it's if there's a new break or structure in there. But yeah, I'm very observant of these structures and tree breaks and bends, et cetera, because. But do I see them all the time? New ones, no. Yeah, but if I was to say yes, I see them all the time. Yes, because a lot of them have already been there, and then they're old ones. Um, I don't always find tracks. Sometimes I see impressions, but um, impressions, I don't know. That's kind of iffy. I'm very careful with impressions because they could be a number of things. It could be, bears and stuff. Um, but yeah, I do see structures every time I go in there. But like I said, they're old. Sometimes if I see something new that stands out, I document it. So yes, indeed. Hold on. Hold on. I think I got something else here. Oh, okay. The person named Lil Pelt was actually thanking me for responding to their question. They said, "Cool, thanks. I am a friend of Fred's, and you did pronounce my name right. That's awesome." Okay. Hold on. Let me see what else there is. Okay. Sam is actually sharing a picture of a cast here. If it, put on 3. Hold on. He's trying to. It's uploading right now. I can't see it quite yet. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. That cast, that looks very interesting. It's funny that he shared this cast, this printer. Actually, I have a couple that look just like that. Very awesome. And that's from down in Southwest Virginia, probably around the Tennessee border, in the area he's talking about. And that's definitely not a bear track. That's for sure. Let me see if I can go in there and hold on. Give me a second. See if I can find it. Hold on. Yep, I'm gonna screen share. Yeah, I'm gonna share this picture with everybody here in just a second.
Great.
Uh-oh, where'd it go?
There's another one I wanted to mention with Glenn there when we was in our mid-teens that we forgot to talk about. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Glenn, we got to get down to Virginia. Maybe we'll be seeing you before June, Daniel.
Really?
Maybe we'll bring some company.
Oh, okay. That will work. All right. I'm going to share this picture here. Oh, wait a minute. Crap, where'd it go? Hold on. Bear with me, everyone.
Good girls.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's try this again. Who are you telling to go to bed? The dog?
Yeah, Sadie, my black lab.
Oh. Ah. All right. Screen share. Okay. See, here's a picture of a cast. You guys see all this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the toes. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3,
3,
4, and 5.
That answered my question.
Well, that's just one of. That's Sam Deloach's one of his casts that he made out of a short trackway he came across, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Come out pretty good.
Yeah, you guys give me a second here. I am gonna. Hold on. All right, give me a few seconds here. I'm gonna try to go grab one of mine. One of my other ones. I don't think you guys have seen yet. I've had it. Hold on. Hold on. I just yanked my headset out of the laptop. So.
Nice going.
Yeah, I know. I'm clumsy. I'm very clumsy. Hold on. All right, you guys hearing me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Not bad.
All right. All right, I'm back. All right, let me turn my camera back on here. All right. Now, this track here is the one I was telling you. You can make out the toes very clearly. This was going up a muddy embankment where it was stepping up on a muddy embankment where here's the toes in this one. So I turned around a different angle here. Now, see, if you look at the rest of the cast, it doesn't really show much of a definition of a foot. I mean, almost like a shape, but the toes were actually dug into the mud, like kind of as it stepped up, gripping. So, yeah, that's why they look kind of weird. That's what I'm assuming. It was like a slippage step. So, yeah.
That looks
They all
awesome.
seem to
Angle, maybe. Yeah.
They all seem to have, they all seem
And you
to
know
have
what?
kind of.
What's that?
They all seem to have the same shape to them too, pretty much.
Well, now I got others. They're out in the garage. I got ones that have a wider ball of the foot, like this one here I showed you guys the other day.
Yeah.
Now I have ones that kind of, I don't know, it's like it has almost like a curve at the heel and a wide ball of the foot, and the toes kind of actually. I have other casts. The toes actually come across more oval-like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, later on, I know I posted pictures of a lot of my casts and stuff before. I'll probably have to try to maybe share them online like I just did when I get a hold of them later. So
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
It's probably the females. The toes round out more or something.
Oh,
Now,
blame it on the females. Jeez.
I don't know. I've seen some females with some funky looking feet and toes. I don't know.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying all.
I got
Come on
some
now.
funky. Consider a Bigfoot in the family.
Yeah,
What's that, Glenn? A big mouth? She said. Nah, just
Oh,
joking.
jeez.
Shadow's a Bigfoot.
I wear a size 11.
Don, you got me beat.
Same size.
No, that's what I have now. It's 11, actually.
Yeah.
Same size foot's mine.
I think Sam was thought that was pretty cool that I just shared his picture like that. A lot of people don't know that. I guess if you guys have pictures that you guys want to share with me, post them to my messenger or whatever, or show me where I can get a hold of them, and I'll pull it up on the other page, and then I can screen share it for everybody to view it if you guys want to share something. Because that's something we're going to do in the near future. We're going to start taking pictures. We can start observing pictures of casts, or if you have a photo of what you believe is a Bigfoot, that's a subject that we'd like to do. Shane Bradbury does something very similar. I think sometimes they do images, they do videos. Well, yeah, he does what you call a reel, not real, but he uses mainly videos. I wanted to try to do something similar, pretty much our own version of real and not real, but using photos and kind of look at photos. Well, actually, he's done the same thing with photos as well. And actually, we've actually come to find out we've debunked a few things. I don't know. There was one in particular that looked like it was like a dead wolf man or something. Come to find out, it was this guy from another country. It was actually a guy in real wolf skins and fur. I don't know. It was very bizarre, but he did some research and really debunked it. It was pretty interesting. Let's see. Hold on here. Yeah, any of our viewers, if you guys have any questions about what we might be talking about, if you guys want me to share something to discuss it, that's something we're going to start doing. We'll do that in the near future. But if you have questions, because I think we're going to actually jump off here very shortly, and anything that we talked about earlier, if you have any questions or comments in regards to that, definitely feel free to share them. I'm going to jump back to the live chat, see if there's anything new. Let's see. I'm going to check right now. Oh, Carrie.
Yeah.
I was just asked, what were you going to say?
Oh, there's Glenn now. You there, Glenn?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Remember when we was camping out with our buddy way up in that gravel pit out in the woods? And in the middle of the night, something started smashing all around the campsite, just out of sight.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
come morning, our buddy split on us. He scared him off, but we couldn't see what was doing it. But it was some loud smashes, and it kept circling our campsite where we was camping.
Wow.
Do you remember that, Glenn?
Yeah, I remember that.
I forgot all about that.
Now, how far was this
That was
location
pretty
from?
good.
Is this pretty
Oh, it
far
was
from where you
good.
guys live?
No, it was where we grew up in Bangor, but it was off up in the woods part that, was nothing but woods for miles and miles, and went through to a lake and just miles and miles of woods.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is pretty cool.
It was about
Yeah,
maybe
that was a real good one there, I remember. That was pretty scary.
3/4 of a
Wow.
mile up the road from our farm.
Wow.
We used to
Yeah,
have
you guys, you know what?
we
You
used
guys
to have,
definitely have squatches up there.
we used to have 800 acres in the city of Bangor. It was all farm. We milked 100 head of cattle.
Wow. Oh, here's a good question. Steve Peck is asking, while out researching, have you ever felt like you were being led into an ambush situation? Well, can't say I ever felt like I was going into an ambush situation. Have I ever felt intimidated? Yeah. Well, let me kind of explain on that one. As far as, I mean, let's just say there's been very few times I felt like I was being watched, and I've had that feeling of that eerie feeling, like there was something nearby. It's been I will say at least a couple times anyway. And what confirmed that there was something there? There was tree knocks that ended up happening eventually. But I do believe one way, if they want you to know that they were there, or nearby, they will definitely let you know one way or another. I know during the daytime I've had tree knocks happen right from the same direction we've come from before, coming down off of one ridge headed to another ridge. Like I shared this before, where me and Fred were sitting up on another ridge, kind of catching our breaths, and I decided, hey Fred, I'm going to do a tree knock. I do a tree knock. Within seconds, you got one immediately from the same ridge we just came from, and the other one happened 5 seconds apart over to the far right. So, yeah, there was definitely communication there. Like, to me, that told me right there, they're letting us know, hey, yeah, we're right here, but you're not going to see us. But yeah, as far as getting eerie feelings and feeling that they're around, they will definitely let you know. And but I don't think that's always the case. Maybe they don't always mean to let you know that they're there, but I think it's a natural instinct. And then again, I don't know if you guys are familiar. We've had discussions about infrasound. One form of infrasound is like when you get that feeling of the hair standing on the back of your neck, and like you're on edge, and you feel that you get that nervous feeling.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
a good example. I know one known animal that is common for that is a mountain lion, or lion. Period. Where they actually will do that to their prey. They actually give off a type of infrasound that will stun their prey, almost freeze them in their tracks. And by doing so, that gives the predator that that what's the right word to use? That moment of attack gives it. Excuse me, I'm losing words. How to put that? But yeah, it gives them the opportunity. There we go, and where they will go through with their attack. But yeah, a lot of animals use infrasound. Whales, dolphins, but I believe that's a little bit different. But a lot of people believe that Sasquatch uses infrasound. I think it's a common trait among a some apex predators that give off that feeling. I mean they're because we don't know much about them. Of course they're naturally intimidating. A lot of people are frightened. Some people say, oh, they've seen them before. Some people claim, well, I was never scared. Well, maybe not. It's some people get that feeling of, hey, it's like a relaxed feeling. I'm gonna be honest with you. There were 6 of us, even though none of us were armed. Something give or take, we might have had a knife, a Bowie knife, which I commonly carry with me anyway when I'm out in the woods. But when we had our encounter back in 2014, it was exciting. I mean, it was like we were like kids in a candy shop. I mean, Cliff Stanley actually did a video of the whole thing, but which was what the disappointing part about it was. Even though I don't know, give or take 1 or 2 people claim they see the eye shine that in it, but in the video I did not see nothing. The only thing you will see is our complete action and behaviors, and but we were excited. I mean, we were acting silly about it because we were actually trying to get them to kind of give us some kind of vocalizations or something. But the thing is, we had a couple with us. Their names are Kimmy and Darren. I think as we were starting to walk away after the subjects turned around and disappeared into the complete darkness, I mean, we started continuing back towards camp. We were talking about it all the way back to camp. And I think Kimmy was a little intimidated. She felt a little scared about it. But overall, she did pretty good with it. She handled it pretty well. Because, as we were walking back, you could hear in the woods, and we believe they were maybe following us, maybe. I don't know. They were checking us out. Because we did hear some movement. We heard the limbs snapping and stuff as they were walking. But we got back to camp that night. No one could go to sleep because we were all excited. We were still excited about it. And we tried to debunk the situation, try to figure out, could it have been something else? Could it have been this? Everything that I know is that's in that area, it related not one of them. The behaviors, not even a bear. The bear we kept talking about, could it have been bears? No. There was no way those were bears. We knew what we were seeing, and to confirm it, we went back the next day, did a daytime comparison, checking the height, the level of the eyes, and but yeah, there was a good 4 or 5 feet, or maybe more, at least 5 feet difference. We were on 5 feet above where we were seeing them, and eye level was, we were at eye level with their eye level, the biggest one. And to drop down to go do a height comparison, we realized it was a good 8 foot tall. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, the biggest one was at least 8 foot tall. So, yeah. One more thing I will share. I have mentioned this before, and I think I did a brief video on this, talking about it. I was driving down the dirt road. I was actually camping, and I was coming back from the local country store because sometimes I ride out to go to the store. They kind of use Wi-Fi, and I was coming back because keep in mind my research area, it's a dead zone. You will not get phone service out there. When I was coming back down the road, I was driving pretty slow, and I'm always watching the roads left on the sides. And coming back down, I saw deer. I had like two raccoons cross the road on me. Um, then I saw something else kind of low to the ground. I couldn't tell. It might have been a coyote. I don't know. I know it was low to the ground, like a small, lower to the ground than a deer, with a small greenish eye shine. But as I kept driving down, I happened to catch another set of eye shine that stood out to me. And when I saw the eye shine for like 3 seconds as I was staring dead at it. And then it was two eyeballs. And what I saw, it turned immediate to its left, almost doing a complete U-turn, like in its from a dead stand. When it turned, the way my headlights were hitting it, you could see the dark silhouette from the head and the shoulders as it ran and disappeared into the woods. You know what I did? I kind of zoomed up to that spot real quick. I stopped my vehicle and I rolled down the window. I just so happened to have a spotlight. I shined my spotlight in the woods. I did not see not one thing, but I heard something in the distance. Apparently, it picked up its distance quite a ways and real quick. But whatever it was at least a good 8 foot tall. Because I still have that same tree marked because it was standing next to a pine tree that was probably around 9 foot tall, and the top of its head was probably just barely at the top. So it was. I'm going to estimate it was at least a good 8 footer. Could it have been the same one we seen back in 2014? Possibly, but I don't know. But it had wide shoulders and a big head. I know that much. It was like a tall. Due to the mass of the shoulders, it was like a big bulked up football player. Because it was dark, it had to been a dark fur image. I mean, it was fur. This fur had to been black. I mean, because I only saw the silhouette of the shoulders and the head as it turned around. I know that wasn't a bear because that was definitely not a bear I was seeing. Because the eye shine had the same colors that we seen in 2014, and what I'm referring to right now actually happened in 2015. So, yeah, that's right there. That was only about a mile and a half from where I was camping at, and where I camp at, right across in the woods, is where we had our encounter, and also 2 weeks before our 2015 expedition in that area, I was camping alone, and this is another story I shared on a number of occasions. After I was set up at my camp, it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I decided to walk out into the middle of the road. No one else was camping in around that time. But I walked out to the middle of the road from my campsite, had my spotlight in my hand. Yeah, but like I said, the spotlight wasn't turned on, not till I got out to the middle of the road. But as soon as I turned my spotlight on, I started shining it in the woods. Right away, I had a deer. Well, I didn't see it, but I knew it was a deer because you could hear from the sound of it running off. But as soon as that ran off, over in the woods, probably less than 20 feet into the woods, something very heavy and large started stepping and walking away. Not fast, but not slow either. It was like a steady walk, and every step was a crash and a thump. I mean, and when I was hearing that walk away steadily, I was like, I didn't know which direction it was going. All I know was a very heavy sound and heavy step, and it was definitely bipedal. But that there, I was intimidated. I know. I think I was talking about this the other night. Fred started laughing at me. Well, hey, you're alone. You're unarmed. You hear something heavy walking in the woods real close to you. I mean, what else? What are you supposed to think? I mean, because if you have no weapons on you, if they're fat, if they're fat, if they're faster than you.
Scary movies, they go right after it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious. I'd want to know what it is. I'm not nosy.
Oh.
I'm curious as a monkey.
Yeah. Now the thing is, I never experienced anything that showed any aggression from them. But you know what? I do believe in taking precautions. I mean, like I said, I was unarmed. I didn't have nothing, so I didn't know if they were, was just trying to get. I'm assuming they were just trying to get away, but then again, you don't know. I mean, if you got too close, could they show aggression? I believe that's possible, but
Yeah, I
so I
wouldn't
don't
want
know.
to. I
Yeah,
don't think I'd want to run him down.
yeah. Oh man. Um. Yeah. This. I don't want to get too carried away with the show. I mean, I'm sure there's so much more we could kind of actually go on to talk and share. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. We got one more question. Well, by the way, thank you, Sam. Sam saying, great show, guys. He does have one more question. He wants to know, do bears bend over trees on a regular basis, or is this Sasquatch behavior? Sam, bears are very common for that. Yes, bears will do this. Bears play on trees. Bears will bend trees. Um, I tell you, one way to actually rule out the difference is you can't always go by a complete snap because depending on the tree itself, if a bear is playing on a tree, a lot of times they'll bend and stretch the fibers in the tree. But yes, they do snap depending on the weakness of the tree, if there's any weak in the core of the tree. Sasquatch, a lot of times they will break. Yeah, they'll do the same thing. Sometimes it is hard to tell the difference because a tree break is a tree break, and um, now sometimes some tree breaks depends. You can tell if they're freshly. Like I've come across trees in the summertime snapped over, and they were fresh. And these are trees you could actually easily rule out weather. The way that you could rule out snow weight. Um, but a lot of these trees were a number. It was either bear or a squatch. Um, a lot of times, if you find a tree that's been completely twisted, like literally twisted around, I've heard some people say like a corkscrew. I actually have seen trees completely twisted like a corkscrew. I mean, I'm talking about trees around 3 or 4 inches wide. Um, Give or take, I've seen small saplings like that too. Sometimes that could be some. It's a possibility people do that too. I know if you follow trails, you'll see trees, little limbs snap and stuff. It's a habit on some people. Some people like to just as they're walking by, they'll grab a small sapling and kind of break it as they're walking through, just to do it, whatever for whatever reason. Sometimes maybe to mark a trail for themselves, know that they've been through there. Uh, but yeah, it's that could be either or. Sasquatches and bears both do the same thing. That's why, and I've said this a million times, I compare Sasquatch and bears. Their behaviors are so much alike, are so much the same. Look at their tracks. A lot of bear tracks are often mistaken as Sasquatch tracks. A lot of people don't realize when a bear walks, their rear foot, their rear hind foot, when they step, it actually meets and steps into their front paw track. A bear's, yeah, average bear around here, even though I've seen them very huge, I've seen them around 600-700 pounds. Most of your average bear, a good 350-pound bear, they have a 8 to 10 inch rear foot. If that steps into the front rear hind foot, you're going to have a 13, 14 inch track right there.
That's right.
There is a there is a difference. I mean, you got to be very careful when you're observing these tracks. Some double step bear tracks will have claws in the middle. Some, if you look, you'll see toe indentions. Because I've come across a lot of bear tracks that don't always have claws in them. But then again, on the other hand, yeah, a lot of bear tracks do have claws. But like I said, that's not always the case. I mean, tracks are very deceiving. If I come across bear tracks, I like to cast bear tracks if I come across a decent one. I've seen all kinds of bear tracks. But I've only got 1 or 2 casts that belong to a bear. One day, just for the heck of it, I mean, I've seen a whole trackway of a small bear before. I need to start making more bear track casts so I can use them for comparisons. Because out of my actually cast collection, I need to make another one because I had a foot cast made from my own foot I used for comparison, and it actually broke. I have a couple casts I need to try to fix because they actually broke, and
Yeah.
A couple of good ones too, and it's very disappointing and upsetting.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hold on. Let me see. All right. As far as I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any more comments or anything.
Now, do you
But
think them Bigfoot's got boundaries that they mark by breaking them trees and stuff?
yeah, I believe that's very possible. And a lot of people believe, and actually I have to believe this too because it makes a lot of sense. A lot of it is actually a lot of the tree breaks I believe are marking directionals. Um, but then again, sometimes tree breaks could be made for yeah either boundaries, directionals, or I know if
Marking their
in the known
territory.
primate world. Well, yeah, um, but like I know some primates they'll do this for intimidation, showing signs of dominance towards another.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, it could be we don't always know. It could be a number of them. I mean, there's a lot that we do not know. I don't know if there's so much we might not ever know, but um, I mean, when I get asked a lot of these questions, I base them off of what I know about our known primates and their behaviors. That's where I get a lot of my answers from. Um, now, are they fact in the Bigfoot world? Maybe not. Maybe it's complete opposite. But that's my theory, and that's how I present my knowledge, and then through observations. Eyewitnesses observed them, shaking trees. Bears do the same thing. Bears are common for shaking a tree. Uh,
Yeah.
whatever reason that might be, don't know. And that could be intimidation, trying to scare off predators or intimidate, whatever. But so, um, but I'm going to tell you what. Let's see, Friday. Are you guys busy Friday night?
I gotta work the next week day.
Yeah, but not that night.
Yeah, this coming Friday night, like the 12th.
I'll be nighty night by 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I gotta work at
You got to
4
work
in the
Saturday morning?
morning, so I'd. Oh yeah.
I'll be free.
How about you, Carrie?
I'm up.
Oh, there goes an hour's sleep that night.
I'm in.
Hour's sleep for me, you guys. Thanks a
Oh,
lot.
poor Cheryl.
Like
Wait a
it-
minute. Nothing's written in stone. I haven't said anything yet. I'm just, you know what? I'm just going by with a lot of people share a lot of awesome stuff, and they present some good questions. We could really have a good Bigfoot podcast. I'm talking about Friday night. I would say Saturday, but if I do Saturday, you know what? Actually, I kind of want to leave my Saturday open. I'm sure you guys would too. I mean, the weekend, everyone wants to try to relax. I'm surprised we got a lot of viewers the other day. We really did for a Saturday.
Good.
Then again, a Friday night, a lot of people go out on Friday nights, which I try to take that into consideration. Like during the week, like today is a Monday night. I mean, I work Monday through Friday, so that's why I try not to do things too late. Luckily, I don't have to get up. We're not on our early schedule like we have been. I work regular hours this week, unless they change. They could change it any day. But yeah, I want to try to shoot for Friday because I know there's some subjects that we could bring up and discuss. I know a lot of people love talking about them. There's some subjects we talked about in the past. People want to keep talking about them, and that's awesome. I mean, we could have an open discussion Bigfoot podcast show this Friday night. Our viewers, if you guys want to watch, just make note of it. Friday night. Let's shoot for 8 o'clock. Actually, as soon as yes, and Carrie and Glenn, make sure you guys are loud. Keep her awake. Not.
You
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
boy.
I'll keep
Payback
her
so
up.
you know what.
Hannah, if you're listening, go jump on your mom's bed. Keep her awake. And as you're jumping on the bed, yell Bigfoot, Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. You might hear a good knock.
Oh, Lord. Well, I see her come tumbling down those stairs to your right.
Oh, yeah. Glenn told me to
I
move
see
my
those.
thing, so you can't see the stairs.
Well, I see the stairs. I can see him. I see a small bit of it.
Oh,
Yeah. It's,
Look, she's
Holy
looking, staring back at
moly.
the stairs. Yeah, it's all good.
All good.
Yeah. Now, when I come back on Friday night, you guys, I'm gonna change my profile picture on here, so you see cool. You'll see a new cool picture.
Well, we don't see you. You hide yourself
I
all the
know.
time.
I
gotta
know.
start
I'm
hiding
close.
myself. Or I'm gonna make my own Lego.
He's Bigfoot.
Well, you got a Bigfoot one. I want something on my little screen when I turn my camera off.
Well, what you have to do is you got to go into your Google account and change your profile picture. That's what this is. I have 2 Google accounts. This is my.
Oh, there goes Hannah again.
yeah.
Glenn.
You look
Glenn,
just like
is that
Hannah.
you?
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Bright red lipstick.
She signed into my YouTube account. And I'm
Or
stuck
vice
in-
versa, you're in her account.
Yeah, it should be the opposite.
She loves her father, I tell ya. She loves her father.
Yeah. She seems like a good kid.
Oh, yeah, she's a good, smart kid. She's right into the history.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was one of my favorite subjects in school, history. I really enjoyed history. Yeah.
That's her favorite subject. She's right into the history.
History.
She'll go right
history,
back to
psychology, sociology.
She likes reading about World War II and she can tell you anything about Titanic. She reads
Awesome.
books
Well,
about this thick.
As far as history goes, when you talk about wars, I actually a lot of the reports I used to do back when I was in school was off the Civil War. I used to know a lot about the Civil War. I really got into the Civil War, for the longest time. Throughout school, every other grade I was doing a report on the Civil War. Actually, I had to do one in my ROTC class, and actually that was a speech I had to give. Oh my goodness, talking about speeches, I'm not good at public speaking. But I surprised myself on a few occasions. But back then in school, it was a different story. Yeah, but I had a couple favorites. My government class, I love government. Government. I actually really enjoyed my psychology class, sociology. I've actually had fun in those classes actually. But yeah, those were the good old days.
You're still a baby. No, come on.
Really?
Yes. If you're younger
Okay.
than me, you're a kiddo.
I'm younger by what, 6 years? No, actually, 5 years. 5 years. Yeah.
Glenn and I are 6 years apart.
No, wait, who's older?
Glenn. I like my men old.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I ain't old.
Oh, you're older than me, sweetheart.
Last time I
Hey,
checked, I was 29 years old.
Oh, jeez.
Well, technically, according to the profile you're using, you're only 14.
There you go.
14 with blonde hair and red lipstick. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
jeez.
actually, we actually got more viewers jumped on who checking everything out. Well, actually, for our viewers, we're actually at the end of our podcast. We're just randomly speaking at the moment. But check us out. I am gonna prepare a new link as soon as I jump off here. The link will be for Friday night. Set your schedules. Put it on your calendars. We want your questions. We want your comments. If you want something discussed or if you have your input, right here where you're viewing, everything's right underneath. Actually, I'll create something on Facebook if you can't. Some people can't comment or ask questions underneath the podcast where they're viewing. So I'll actually create something on Facebook because I can view both Facebook and the live link together. The way I have everything set up. So if you have Bigfoot questions, if you want to know something based off of our experience or something that we might know, ask your questions and we'll answer to the best of our abilities. I do not know everything, but I do try my best to answer honestly. So, and I will not make nothing up. If I don't
Right.
know, I'm going to be honest and say I don't know. I mean, because if it's something that's asked to me a lot now, I don't know, I'm gonna research it. It's something I'm gonna look into. But yeah, Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Because right now
Right.
on my end, for those who are viewing that are outside the Eastern Standard Time, it's 9:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. We've actually been on for an hour and 42 minutes, so that's cool. So,
Yeah, see how
but
long
I'm
they
gonna
can keep
actually,
me up.
yeah, that's awesome. You got to go to bed. You got to get up early in the morning.
I go to bed at 6:30 and have to get up at 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Just make sure
That's
you hit Fred's
ludicrous.
on there Friday night.
Fred.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
Fred.
try to get a hold of
Good
him. I don't
night
know where he's at.
story. He tells good night stories. When he was
Yeah,
talking to
Fred.
Oh
Glenn
yeah.
that night, I fell asleep like a log,
What
Fred's
story was he
pretty
talking about that put you to
just
sleep?
like somebody reading a book.
Really? Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
So make sure Fred's on Friday night.
well, I'll make sure. I'll have to call him. I don't know where he's. I think he was working on his Jeep because he got his new engine in or something like that. So I don't know. I left him a couple messages. I wasn't gonna bother calling him because I figured he was busy anyway. So, but I'll be
Oh,
sure to
I'll
let
leave
him
him a
know.
few messages too.
Yeah, he has
I'll
Okay.
I'll write on his Facebook.
Fred does good. He's got some good stories.
Oh yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
So, yeah, Fred knows we all love him. So,
Yeah.
Daniel, he
Every-
couldn't put me to sleep.
who? What?
You couldn't even put me to sleep.
Oh, okay. My job is to keep you awake,
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
keep
That's
you
why I'm
attentive,
gonna wear
keep you alerted.
earplugs. Get me
I
a
got
set
a
of
bunch of them. I can bring.
earplugs.
Yeah.
That's what
Man.
clock's for.
Oh, look at that. Glenn muted
Who
you.
muted me?
Glenn?
Hey. Hey, I'm the second star of the show here, you boys. Daniel might have the first, but I am the second.
You know what? That might be you might be the reason why we have all these viewers right now. They're probably checking you
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get
Oh wow,
jealous, honey.
you're not conceited at all, are you, Cheryl?
Hey, I used to be a very, very shy girl in high school, and that changed. That
Oh
changed.
really?
Oh, yeah.
I see Glenn's all smiles. I get it. He's glad it changed. Huh?
Oh, I wasn't going to come on tonight. I was just going to sit back and watch movies, and Glenn says, you got to go on.
Yeah.
Hold on one second here. Let me see something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday will be
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Leo Pale. Yeah. Leo Pale said, "I don't know where Fred is either." Yeah. Yeah. He said, "Yeah, probably the Jeep." So that's my guess because I know he was telling me the other day that he got his parts in. I believe him. So yeah, I think that's what he's doing. But
Why, what kind
yeah,
of Jeep
everyone.
he has?
Oh shoot! As much as he talks about it, you think I could tell you?
I think it's a green one.
Yeah, it's a green.
Oh.
It's an old Yeah, it's an old military style Jeep. It's jacked up. He has it. The way the suspensions is on it. He used to do rock climbing with it, but he's for the last 2.5 years. It's been out of commission. So he had it going for a little while. Then this problem happened again. He keeps throwing away money into it, but it's I think his own mother has actually told him to get a new vehicle, but I don't
Well,
know.
you got to keep the money into the vehicle to keep it going. That's how it
Yeah,
goes. How it
yeah. I mean,
goes.
growing up, I always grew up learning to you don't buy if a vehicle's nickel and diming you to death, you get away from it. That's how I learned growing up, but that's why I had to get a newer vehicle. I mean, I used to drive old cars. Don't get me wrong, I like the older cars, but then eventually, through a period of time, they, as much as you start keeping up with putting this part back into it and this part, it's just through a matter of time. It keeps going. You got to constantly go with it because old cars only last so long unless you have a good amount of money, the right kind of money to actually throw, really totally remodel something. But I mean, I don't know. Fred really loves that Jeep. I understand, but
I miss my Lincoln
I guess
Continental. She was champagne
what year
color.
was it?
Oh, I can't remember. Had tinted windows. Everybody called it the pimp car.
I had an old car that was, man, I miss my 1980 Oldsmobile. That was a big, I mean, it wasn't a big car, but I mean, I guess, well, yeah, it was big compared to me when I was driving it. Yeah, that was a good car. It made it all the way from Chesterfield, Virginia, down to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and back. Yeah, that was a 12-hour ride one way. So,
They're a
yeah.
good car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a couple different
Yeah.
Oldsmobiles. I had an 86 or 84 and then the 80, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah.
Okay, I got one more
Well, everybody.
question. No, don't go
Okay,
away
one more
yet.
question.
One more
Okay,
question.
not a problem.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little signing, so watch my screen, Daniel.
Oh my
What was
goodness. Like I
how big of a broad wide shoulder do they get? I
I
mean,
think that all depends. I'm gonna say at least a real big one. I'm gonna say they're around 3 or 4 feet wide.
Yeah. At least, probably.
At least, yeah, at least. I've heard of some of them being a lot smaller. They could be tall and not as wide, but I think it all depends. I mean, it's kind of like in the human species, us humans, we all vary in size. Some people got wide shoulders. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I
yeah.
don't know.
Now, do
Like
they
me, I
always
mean,
have great abs?
honestly, I'm not sure. I heard some of them bigger in the chest than they are in their guts kind of slope down. I've heard some on a number of stories how they have a good muscle mass, but it's always referring to their chest and shoulders and arms. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now I got some abs, but my abs are behind my six pack's right here behind my keg. So
Well, we'll check them out later.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I used to be skinny and in shape. Yeah, long time ago. I remember my daughter, or Brianna. She seen a picture from me of me back when I was with her mother. She said, "Daddy, you were in good shape back then. What happened to you?" Oh, I used to do construction work. I used to help frame houses. So yeah, she started picturing me in a wife beater. So I was like, yeah, that's how I always was out in the sun laboring. But yeah, but I don't do that like I used to. So I don't know. That's why the only exercise I get is when I'm out hiking, or out in the woods. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've always done construction work. If I wasn't doing if I wasn't help framing houses, I was doing masonry. 'Cause that's what I took schooling for too. My last 2 years of high school, I was doing masonry classes, so doing the hands-on and stuff. It was pretty cool. But, yeah, but I haven't done that in a long time. So, but I've always liked working with my hands. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We got a lot.
what are you laughing at? Cheryl's laughing
Oh,
because she's
that's
got a
all
dirty
right.
mind.
Dirty minded.
That's all right. You
I
said
know.
it. Poor Kathy.
Oh my! There you
Oh,
go.
jeez.
Her brothers don't want to hear about that all the time.
Oh,
Probably
they
makes
don't
them feel
care.
weird.
You even got Mama rooting for you.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Can I get a whoop whoop? All right. Well, hey, let me kill it. Hey, you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna kill the broadcast here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Um, we had a great discussion. If there's anything we talked about early in the show, if you missed anything, feel free to go back and watch it through the same link. I had to make a few points, kind of bring up something. But overall, is if you don't agree with somebody or like them, you don't need to have your 2 cents about them. Leave them alone. That's all I'm saying. Just leave them alone. Let them be about their business, and you have no right to go to someone else and get someone else to question them. Because basically that's what this got started about. I had this well-respected people. I have good friends. Which I thought they knew me better enough, but they were actually questioning me and kind of throwing doubt towards me until I had to explain to them, kind of break a few things down. But this all this stuff in the Bigfoot community has got to stop. Everybody's got to learn to mind their own business and respect each other's opinions and what they share, regardless if you believe it's real or not. If you call yourself a researcher, well then research. If you don't believe somebody, well research it for yourself. 'Cause everyone has
Or
their own
ask
opinion.
questions.
Well, yeah, question the person directly.
Question
That's a
them
good point.
right down to the death. And no more
Yeah, and
bullying about anybody.
yeah, because
Or
Cheryl's
you
gonna
gonna deal with me?
come out of me.
You're gonna come out of me.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, Cheryl's the main show, so
That's right.
the main event. She's the main event.
You wouldn't believe how many friend requests I've been getting lately since Saturday
Oh,
night.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
said. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. You guys stay tuned, but for our viewers, tune in Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have a Bigfoot discussion show where we get to talk about anything Bigfoot related, and we
Keep
always have a
Cheryl
good
up
time.
all
We
night.
always have laughs on here. Yeah, we're gonna keep Cheryl up all night, and yeah. So,
Thank you, man.
hey, oh, not a problem. Friday night, might be the night we get Kathy to show her face on here. Is that right? Could we do this?
Supposed to.
She did promise next.
I had her look. She checked herself out after we got off air. She checked herself out on the computer. She goes, "Oh, I don't look too bad." Oh my
She's something
gosh!
else. Isn't she?
Because she worked all day. Now,
Very
come
good.
on.
Oh man.
Wait until
Yeah,
you wake up with her in the morning. Ew. Sorry, Kathy, if you're listening, and I love you.
Oh, I'm sure she's
I love
one
you.
of.
I
I'm
know
sure she
she's
is.
listening. I know she's listening.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she's getting ready to text you here shortly. I don't know.
Oh yeah, she probably
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, she'll come around.
Oh yeah.
She'll be around.
So, all right, for the viewers watching, thank you guys for tuning in. Like we said, we always have fun, and we hope to have you guys join us again. Share the link when you see the links that we post for the upcoming event. Share them. Get your friends involved. We welcome questions. We love questions. It adds into a great show. So thank you again. God bless. And let me stop the broadcast, and we'll be back Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.